Our final game of the evening has arrived. Bilibili Gaming taking on Snake in the Chongqing Arena in the Snake Pit itself. And we happen to see Game 1 going over to BLG with their victory, and Snake coming back with the unexpected chase funnel in Game 2. Just a classic drafting advantage. They recognized the weakness of one of the players of BLG and successfully picked a composition around it. But now, coming into Game 3, we've got that pick and ban ready for you. Let's go ahead and bring it up. And Clement, why don't you walk us through what we're seeing here? Because if my eyes don't deceive me, for Snake, that is 280 carries when in the last game they didn't have any. So are they trying to compensate now?
Well, they're basically going for the funnel once more. We're probably going to see the Morgana and the Kai'Sa funnel into the mid lane, or maybe even the Gragas funnel with it. And I think they've really found the niche where BLG is weak at. Topside, Amazing J cannot play a Conqueror champion. He's always going for these tanks, so you can always push him in there. And also, Chieftain's champion pool is incredibly slow. He plays Skarner, Rek'Sai, and Sejuani. So you take those factors into consideration. Funnel is a great answer against BLG. They have a very weak topside. You get that strong mid-jungle, and then you invade towards their topside and take everything away.
So we're seeing a similar funnel out of Snake. That said, BLG already showed they know, at least in-game, how to, in some fashion, deal with the funnel. Split the map, push the turrets, get the 80 carry fed. This time we've got the Ashe Kench, which could have a little bit more mobility with the Arrow Abyssal Voyage.
Yeah, that is true. However, I think BLG have it even tougher than game 2 right here, because their bot lane is not an auto win anymore. The Varus is actually a very good lane counter towards the Ashe, and even with Tahm Kench there, I'm not sure that they can actually win this lane if Morgana is indeed the support. This will be a very strong pushing lane for Snake, so you're looking for 3 pushing lanes and a gold funnel for Snake. That means counter jungle city for Snake right here.
Yeah.
Again, a very bad setup for BLG. There has to be some hero play from Road to actually correct this.
Yeah, I mean, we've already spoken so much about how SOFM just loves to invade and live inside of the enemy jungle. Well, he got the chance to do that in this previous game. Now he's looking for something similar in this matchup. But BLG, they've gone through Game 1. They've gone through Game 2. We talked about their mental fortitude coming into this series. I think we've got to keep our eyes on Road and whether or not he can maintain that vision to protect against the SOFM invades.
But I just hope that BLG fix their champion pool mistakes right here, because we're seeing so many holes in the top lane, in the jungle as well, and in the bot lane where people know that they cannot play pushing mages. That's the reason BLG has been sitting 1-5. It has been those champion pools, and I think if Snake succeeds here, BLG is on for a very rough port. Yeah, they're on a very rough road.
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll get the chance to recover in the future. That said, it's now time for our casters to get us into this Game 3 between BLG and Snake.
Oh no, hold me, Frosk. You know what's happening? SOFM's on Kai'Sa in the jungle as a gold funnel. How's this gonna go, Frosk?
Hopefully he's not gonna dive into the backline and instantly die.
My heart can't take it. Not again. Not like this. Not in the third and final game here in Chongqing. Don't put it on the gold funnel Kai'Sa. Anything else? Irelia, Jace. All right, take it away, guys.
She's got a megaphone.
Whew.
She's only got an iPhone.
I know. Siri's getting involved. Actually, I will say that BLG are much louder this time. I don't know if people have just converted, but either way.
I think our mic guy found the audience.
Maybe. But why did it have to be Kai'Sa funnel? Of all the things.
So, Pulse's ire comes from the last time that we saw SOFM play the Kai'Sa, he showcased that he is not an ADC player and he's a jungler. And do not get me wrong, he did some pretty fancy things on the Kai'Sa, but he gets a little bit overzealous, he gets a little bit too hyphy, and he likes to dive into backlines. When you have all of that gold, that's when things go sideways.
The problem is you only need to do one thing wrong and the game's over. That's the problem. You can do 10 things right and one thing wrong, but then it's GG. That's what scares me. Here comes Snake into the jungle.
Trap.
Face first. Ooh, they found the binding. I don't think even they knew that was going to land. SOFM hits the Kathy and Rain. And more from the mid lane war. Oh no, they're still going. All Snake are feeling it. Guo. Body slam. Road's low. But that's from the side. 5 versus 4. Flash over the wall. Triple flash. Snake, this is not going well. Amazing J, he finds the cleaver onto Light. There is no flash for him. No Maestro. Maestro is well and truly gone. Oh, here's a binding, buddy. Thumbs up from Jin Zhao.
And here's the thing, Snake's hubris bite them back right there. BLG, they set the trap, they recognize that Snake are going to go for the delay invade. They're going to split the vertical jungling. They've done it every single time, and they make sure that their top lane is lying in wait.
Oh.
Road's got the fancy footwork. Is no one going to kill him?
Go
for Road!
He's in your jungle recalling. Hello?
And I'm tilted.
Hello? Hello? Yes, this is dog.
Not even close.
Rude! Absolute madman.
He slipped out in the night like a thief.
Wait, where did they think he went? Like he was there. Like Morgana tried to aim the binding at him. It missed, and he was like, oh, I guess he's gone. I guess he's just not here anymore.
But round 2, Chieftain has the blue buff, but SOFM is like, no, I will fight for this. And SOFM is,
Oh. 2-on-2.
ooh.
Not gonna happen.
He's eating a lot of time from people, and he's not finding a lot of success doing it.
No, he is not. This is a
So-
direct opposite.
Typically in a gold funnel composition, and how Snake play it differently than the rest of the world, especially in the LCK. The LCK, it's about eating your own jungle and the mid lane. It's about acquiring as much farm as possible, as quickly as possible. It's not about dueling or invading into the enemy jungle. And that's all SOFM has attempted to do. In fact, he's going for round 3 here. He may actually get this one, but
If at first you don't succeed, try to take blue buff.
But ultimately what that means is that it's wasting a lot of time, where Swain's getting to sit, he's keeping the wave neutralized, he's not being forced to overextend, and SOFM is looking at a completely full jungle. So he does eventually get a buff, so not all is lost. But if you're looking for the differences of why hasn't Snake's funnel been as effective as, say, the funnels that we've seen in the LCK, it's because they played a bit more aggro.
Well, if I've learned anything from politicians, it's that if you throw enough in the other person's court and you make them fight in their side, they're always on the defensive. So SOFM, if he's always in the enemy jungle taking things away, then he can go back to his side and farm all his camps.
Which he'll get to do right now. But so far, everything's been pretty slow and steady for BLG. I like the adaptation to the level 1. I do like the standard composition. I think Clement brought really good points up on the analyst desk that Snake seemed to have a read about where BLG are weak, which is in Amazing J's inability to play the Conqueror junglers. He's forced onto the tanks. It means that there's a huge window where you can really punish them on the top side of the map, which is exactly what SOFM did. It was getting the top side blue buff, whereas on the bottom side, it's Ashe and Tahm Kench. You know, the ability to push in or at least try to match Varus and Morgana is there.
And the other thing is, while yes, there maybe aren't some picks that are just like big damage right now, Ashe can still find a good engage. So can Chieftain off of the ultimates. The Freljord duo will be able to find a fight when they feel strong. And then if more can stand and deliver, then they're good.
We have a lot of very specific identities for teams in the LPL. You know, there's not a bunch of teams trying to do the same thing.
Styles.
They do one thing very well, and BLG do this thing very well, which is have the wombo combo, have the hard CC, throw it out for the 5v5, and see it 35 minutes, boys.
Yeah, they pretty much just encapsulate Amazing J as a player. I mean, they're not the greatest in laning phase, but man, do they know how to position their team fight. Amazing J, you think back to his old days of the Northless. I was like, wow, I kept being told that his Northless is great, and I watched him in laning phase, and he'd just die, and I'd be like, I don't see it. But then here's a team fight, he's always in the right place at the right time, somehow. I don't know how he does it, it's a slow champion. But again, it's just that cognizance of what they're good at. And the other thing with BLG is that they were very aware of this. They even said in interviews, we know we're not good in the early game, but we know we're good in team fights, so we'll over-index in what we're good at. So we'll have a 10 out of a 10 at what we're good at, and maybe like a, you know, a 5 at the laning phase.
Not re-rolling that character.
No, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's actually really cool to see. But then, when we saw Chieftain and Mole come onto the roster, we were like, why were they not running these guys all the way through the split over like SKS, Athena in the mid lane? Because they came in, again, as we said, with a splash.
Yeah, I think BLG almost, the cross that they died on was really trying to salvage Athena. I think Athena's been struggling in this meta for a very long time. I'm glad to see him take a step back from the roster and some time given to these young players like Chieftain and Mole. Chieftain's doing a bit of double duty here.
Yeah, well, you know...
Help him out there, Mole. Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, Krabs can't attack back, so, you know, he's just making it fair for him. He's going to choose not to go for the dragon right here. Yeah, I definitely agree. And the other thing for like older players is sometimes it's good just to take a step back for a second, you know? You always have those esports retirements, but like even hitting the bench and then just crushing some solo queue, finding some time away. Burnout's a very real thing that happens to these players, so.
I mean, we talked about it last game, you know, just how young some of these players are and trying to get that experience. And like Clement says, I also appreciate that when you light a fire under a player and you try to get them to find that hunger again. So maybe that's what Athena needed to return to form.
Maybe. Really seen him a little bit, and just looked pretty good. He has expanded his champion pool. He's still definitely playing, that's for damn certain. On the opposite side, Snake tried a lot of different things. They opened today with a conventional comp, which is unconventional for Snake. We saw a lot of different things out of SOFM. He was the team player. You would never want a more reliable buddy in the jungle to support you. Or that Jax in the top lane. Ended up losing and he went back to the funnel. So, and it worked out. That's what's the opposite of positive reinforcement?
Negative reinforcement.
Yes. And here we are in game 3 with Kai'Sa funnel. Level 1 invade goes wrong.
It didn't work when I supported you. Now you support me.
Yeah, and it worked. So, therefore, game 3 makes sense.
Well, it's hard to say no when you have a player as talented as SUFM.
That's true. You just do some crazy things in the jungle. Because I've never seen any man before pull off.
And he's starting to open up a sizable CS difference between him and this other mid laner. So about 20 CS in favor. Running through this jungle, he's gone back to, or he stopped invading, although as we'll see for a second buff rotation if that maybe changes. You can see in response, BLG have a defensive control ward on their own blue buff, so also expecting SOFM to get a bit frisky and making sure that they have the collapse potential there. But otherwise, I think SOFM's learned his lesson. He's just farm the mid lane, retreat back to your own jungle, eat up all of that farm, and then just try to stack up as quickly as possible. And meanwhile, no one has assisted this poor bottom lane, and this is one of the big things that you give up when you have a funnel composition, is the ability to punish forward pushing lanes.
Yeah. Big problem. Chieftain is even just hanging around on the bottom side, waiting for Crab. And also here for the bottom lane if they need it. Oh, hello, Gogoro. Level 6 versus level 5, but the advantage goes over to the mid lane, of course. Because you have SOFM there, so he's going to stop that one from happening. Mole also low on mana. An 0-2 contest. He'll go back to base, find himself a blasting wand. And also, the makings of Rod of Ages got the catalyst too.
But both teams are winning here, but in different ways. So Snake are saying this is fine, we've got the funnel going, SOFM is getting all of the gold, all of the crabs, everything that he needs. But BLG are saying, you know, just extend this lane phase. Jin Zhao and Road are winning this naturally. The bottom tower will eventually fall, and Snake really don't have an answer unless they want to walk 4 people down there to deal with it. So I actually think that what should happen is Chieftain should clear the top side of his jungle, and then he should start moseying down bottom and at least just be there for backup support. In fact, actually, never mind. He doesn't need to. That tower's only got like 10 HP left on it.
He can hang around top. He can look towards mid lane. Amazing J. He's just trying to force him to use the ultimate. I feel like maybe he could have waited a couple more seconds for the execution's calling to have worn off, but it's not the biggest of deals. He'll be back to a pretty healthy state anyways in the top lane. So it's going to be ult for ult, and FLICKR will back away right here. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we're really just also waiting for Mole to hit his initial item, which will be a Rod of Ages. Getting that one to stack early, only going to be good things for BLG, so they can fight earlier into the game. Now, Snake in the bottom side had the assistance coming out of Guo, but unfortunately the tower will still fall to Jin Zhao and Road.
I do want to talk about this, though, because something that a lot of teams always forget, and we talk about it all the time, is that Ashe fundamentally changes how your lane assignments work once you drop an unlocker from the bottom lane. Because she has access to the enchanted crystal arrow, she doesn't have to walk top. She can actually just walk mid, especially with Abyssal Voyage, and if that arrow lands on Kai'Sa, suddenly this is a very different snowballed game. In fact, look at where Ashe is walking. Walking towards the top side of the lane, which is normally not warded, and she's gonna look. Is Kai'Sa still in the mid lane? No, she went back to her jungle, she's grabbing the wolf camp. Okay, now we're gonna grab the Rift Herald. And if Flandre at that point is too far forward, then Ashe will opt into walking top lane. And if Kai'Sa is back in the mid lane too far forward, then Ashe will opt into walking mid lane. But just the option play of League of Legends.
Yeah.
The ball snaps back, are you gonna run it? Are you gonna pass it? Are you gonna run it yourself?
You're going to fake out? Who knows? And BLG step over some wards right there, so Snake now know what they're up to, but can they find positioning and purchase onto them? That's a nice but dark binding. Maestro getting caught out over the wall. Wolf have to flash. SOFM is very unhappy. Oh, now he's happy because the Raptors have reset, so he's going to get his big chicken. But no one steals SOFM's Raptors and gets away with it.
And we talk about BLG's vision control. We mentioned it a lot in game number 2. Now you can actually see them setting it up for game number 3. And it wasn't just Road and Chieftain that came in and placed that triangle vision above the Rift Herald to secure it. It was also Jin Zhao himself, carrying his old control ward, placing it down underneath in the river, and they have complete control over the top side of the map. Huge trade up. That's Tower and Rift Herald for Ocean Drake.
That's what we call trading up, folks. They're actually going to move towards the bottom lane and maybe take this tower, question mark?
Still a big tempo advantage because it's multiple people on this tower where it's just light on bottom.
Great. Top tower is going to be falling right here. And we've also got Maestro moving to the bottom lane. Now, in the top side of the map, you're just talking about it. I believe we're calling it fairy light vision. You know, whether you light up the Christmas tree. There's fairy lights.
Yeah, the fairy lights.
Yeah. There's definitely some good old fairy lights here in July. And bottom tower will be traded. So 1-for-1 in towers. But again, tempo to BLG. Chieftain has the Herald in the back pocket, ready to dump it at the earliest convenience.
And the play now will be around not just the Herald, but also the Ashe era. We talked about how Ashe is kind of the option play of League of Legends, that they decided because they had vision on Flandre on the top side, that's where they would send Jin Zhao, since SOFM had disappeared in the Fog of War, wasn't available for an arrow. But after this reset, the Bork's going to be online, the Rod of Ages has now just been completed. BLG should actually just walk up mid.
Walk it up mid. So now, I haven't seen in a while. SOFM, there he is. 174 farm to him. 0-0-0, and Blood Razors. I'm sure he's got a lot of gold in his back pocket. I've been seeing him running around with Blood Razors for quite a while.
Which means it's a good time to really strike when Kaisa's, doesn't have a lot of items. I think this is actually a really poor back window, and SOFM's being super greedy here across from a team with a Herald. Because he wanted to back, but he wanted to grab one more wave and one more camp because he wants to get something big on his back. And in doing so, there is no one to protect this mid lane tower. And even if he walks to that, what are you going to do? Snake are completely out of position for this. This is a huge blunder.
SOFM's the type of guy who really likes bubble wrap. Always one more. Unfortunate. Shelly's going to maybe get a second charge. Yeah, there we go. Bam. Take that one down to half. Big loss there for Snake, and BLG really happy with how this one worked out. They're in the jungle. They're moving their vision from top side to bottom side.
See? Look at how they move their control wards. This is, this sounds so fundamental and basic, but so many teams in the LPL don't do this, and it's a signature of BLG.
Hello. Arrow.
Good black shield.
Good stuff from Maestro. The important thing there, he didn't freak out when he saw Ro turn the corner, so he still had it for his ally, but there's the follow-up CC onto Light. Mole on the front line, he'll flash away.
AJ.
Back to his ally, dragging them back into the meat grinder though. Chieftain flashes to the right. Mole, meanwhile, on the front line, still tanking, but he's about to fall. Oh, big pop comes out of him. He's still low, but he will be finished off by Light. Meanwhile, Jin Zhao getting chased down by SOFM. And that's 2 kills over to Snake. Amazing J by himself, and will also fall to the hands of Light.
And Snake may blunder with the mid lane protection, but ultimately when it comes to the fight, they do capitalize on it. Credit to SOFM. He played some flashy Kaisa, he got into the back line, he went 2v1 and showcased the gold funnel comp is what it's all about. Level 12, had access to multiple points and multiple abilities, and just styled the kids.
It worked out. It was an initial push for BLG, maybe biting off a little more than they could chew, but again, they were looking towards that vision and trying to make a pick.
And again, so the ultimate throwing out here is a good idea because they know the black shield's down, but it doesn't connect on SOFM, it just hits Light, and that's where all of the gold is. So SOFM is then going to walk down Road and Jin Zhao and split him from the fight. Ults into the back line, forces Road to flash over the wall, and then the damage is separated from the tank line. AJ was late into the TP. He's got no follow-up damage for all of the damage that he himself is soaking, and BLG just get torn apart.
It's as simple as that. And now Snake regain control over this game. They bring it back up to even from where they were bleeding out pretty significantly. 2 of those kills actually went over to Light, though. In the end, he'll find himself a Curious S, pretty much courtesy of that fight. And SOFM in the jungle still hasn't gone back. Oh, another replay.
We're going to see what happens here. I have a feeling it's going to be for the
I feel like I
Flandre.
know how this one ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could have hit that one with the 2-bit continued. But we didn't. Anyways, SOFM's gone back to base, and he full purchased a Gwintu's Raid Blade. From 0.
You don't do that?
Not often.
I wasn't aware that you could buy ingredients for things.
Only buy them full. That's the SOFM mantra. It's the only way to play League of Legends. Look at him. He's got the gold over to him. 2,600 gold to himself right now. He's a pretty big Kaiser. Ah, wonderful. What's the third item going to be? I guess that's the question.
But then that means that we need to keep track to see where SOFM stacks up or ranks next to some of the great Kaisers that we have in this league. So pay attention to where he's stacking up, what he's hitting in between hitting champions, and how he's able to maintain his damage output in the course of these fights.
Yes, indeed. Arrow. Ooh, good dodge from Glogwa. Road is on his way. All right, what's the road test? How are we doing? 0-0-1.
He's on the board,
He's on the board.
which
It's
means they're on
slightly
the board.
positive. Yep. Which means even.
I'm actually surprised he didn't die in that last skirmish that they
Do we
had.
call it the driving test? 'Cause road?
Ooh. You've been sitting on that one.
No, I haven't. I just made it up. Found like a good idea. Oh, flight for.
They don't have Ash Arrow, but they do have Sejuani ult, so all eyes to see on Chieftain, and if this is going to be the go button.
But there's no arrow yet, but there is Chieftain's ultimate, as you just said.
What's interesting here is how they're playing around the Cloud Dragon. BLG have firmly decided that doesn't matter to us. We'll take it if it's free, but otherwise, no thank you.
That is actually hilarious. Both teams are squaring up, shoulders completely staunch, and then Snake were like, where are you going, BLG? And they're like, we just don't care about Cloud, do we? So they're going to secure complete control over top side. Ash is deliberating whether to go for the top wave, because BLG is deliberating whether they want to go for Dragon, but ultimately they don't really care. So yeah, Ash is going to get this entire wave to herself. Looks like 3 to 4 waves. There we go. Next Dragon is Cloud.
BLG have gotten very fortunate with a lot of these Dragon rotations.
Yes, they have, Frosk.
Oh, I'd be slightly irritated.
They prayed to the old gods and new, and they have delivered.
Thank you, Odin, for blessing us with this Dragon combination.
Now, I don't know if the Greek gods were part of Game of Thrones, but
Odin is a Nordic god.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I know, we're crossing references again. Never cross the streams for us, never cross the references. Anyways, lighting up top side of the map, following away. How is SOFM doing? Of course, he is the jar from which the funnel is placed into, and he is 002. He's bought a component, my god! He's got the stinger.
He's still a big boy. He's still relatively powerful. I feel like this is just going to come down to execution, which means our eyes are always going to be on SOFM because he gets a little bit overzealous with his ultimate use. And then for BLG, you're just looking at the Sejuani ultimate as well as the Ash Arrow. BLG in a much better position for Game 3 than Game 1 or 2 this series. I feel like they actually exited lane phase. Oh.
He's bad at Mundo Ball.
It wasn't even moving!
I know! Ginny was nailing every cleaver, moving or not moving.
It's fine,
He was
AJ.
expecting the Duke.
They should just run this up mid lane.
Yeah.
What are they scared of? They don't have any vision in
Yeah,
top side.
yeah.
That's what it is. So now they're waiting. Oh, look at how patient they are. They wait for Chieftain to lead the way. They are so well trained.
I know.
Every team I coach, they just monkey up in there. Just, what are you doing?
What was the story you were telling me the other day? You were talking to one of your players and he just locked in champion.
No. So the joke is that I've worked with a lot of young players, and so I would take them into Vent or random Discord channels, and I would just be like, Wonder, the team is all about you. You are the greatest player. You are the important one. But hold on.
Road is going to come in there. Solo mission this time.
And then I'd grab Sincux and I'd pull him into a room and be like, Sincux, you don't understand. The team is all about you. You are the most important player.
How did that go?
Well, they got into the EULCS,
They
so
did.
you tell me.
I remember. I casted that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no! Light's caught by himself. In the dark alley. There was a Demon Bird, and Flandre is there in the dark alley with him.
Here comes Cavalry.
And he went in there despite knowing that there were two very angry people.
Oh, he flashed!
Oh, over the wall! Amazing J following through. Throws it with the axe once again, but he's dead. And Maestro, oh no, I need to get out of here.
Good
Dark Binding is good, yeah. Meanwhile, Road is locked up 2 people. Caffeine Rain is big. SOFM though, here he is! Big boy carry! That's gonna be another kill, 2 to him! And Chieftain and Mole, they need to run away because SOFM, he's hunting. Does he have the plasma? Well, he's got someone in the trap. And it is Mole. He's about to go down on the ground for the last time. And SOFM finds his 3rd.
It's chaos, it's dirty, it's a little bit of some jelly
It's
wrestling.
a little bit grimy.
But ultimately, Snake did win the fight. It doesn't capitalize into anything. I guess SOFM picks up some more pocket gold. See if he buys another component. No, he finishes an item.
Either big component or item. No middle ground.
But we're getting to that point that Clement was talking about on the desk where, you know, if you get into a late game and you haven't... If you get to a late game as a funnel competition, you have fundamentally failed. Because look at how hard SOFM is hitting right now. So Snake just need to organize themselves a little bit better in these team fights, play it a little bit closer to the chest, and start recognizing how strong they are.
So you're saying don't go for skirmish fights and let SOFM 1 versus 1 your team?
Well, you should.
Is that what you're telling me, Frost?
You shouldn't high five into certain depth, but if SOFM is this strong, just
Oh.
rock up into whatever you want. Just be like, fight me.
That's what we're talking about. SOFM has those mechanics. I mean, at a certain point, you can overload him. So in a 5-on-5, you can definitely nuke him down and prey towards his avarice. But when you're in these 1v1s, these 2v2s, these skirmishes, SOFM will win. Because he keeps track of everything in that lower head of his.
And it makes the Ash Arrow and the Sejuani ult that much more important because out of all the things that SOFM does have, he is still very reliant on Maestro's Black Shield. Because he doesn't have a QSS, he went full damage. Defensive item, what's that?
Yeah, he's really put down the down payment. He's got 11,000, almost 12,000 gold out of himself. If we're doing the 2v2 matchup, is on 16 to 17,000 gold versus 15 to 16.
That is a
from
lot
Mullen
of
Chieftain.
avocado toast.
That is so much avocado toast, you don't even understand.
He could buy a house.
He could. You buy his family houses. He could do so much right now, but primarily he's going to focus on taking down BLG. And that is what he's doing so far. I want to see BLG in the execution here, as we've been talking about.
I think he's going to get his QSS now. There it is.
Ah.
Okay, now things are dire. You got the QSS.
And the Black Shield.
You got the Black Shield.
And the Guo.
You need to now layer your CC. Oh, this is...
Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Not great. Don't split up and search for clues. That is the biggest takeaway that I can possibly say for BLG right now.
One shot, one opportunity, BLG.
More
you
like-
were supposed to be the gods of team fighting. The Cinderella story of the LPL.
One shot, more like 3 shots laid correctly on top of SOFM
Chain
to
it.
kill him. Yeah.
This is clever. Again, Snake being caught unawares by BLG's superior vision denial. Look at the control that they have over the area. Look at how they've managed to slip into this. There's one blue trinket. They've caught
Something
the
is
scent.
amiss. Yeah, they haven't indeed caught the scent. Plasma comes out. And Flandre is already on his way. On the way, pings to the top lane. Yes, I know what they're after. Plus Flandre. Well, he really wanted the wave, so he's going to be
Chieftain?
corralled.
Has to be careful here. Yeah, you do not want to engage
Yeah,
on
he's
that.
our half-health Sejuani into a Darius who has a burst build.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, who has he found? Oh, it's Jin Zhao, and it's Road 2 for 1 special. Can I get over the wall? No, I can't. Jin Zhao over the wall. Whoa, what a cast coming in for Guo. SOFM finds the second. Now he's on the wrong side of the wall, though.
Is he? Or are they on the wrong side of the
no,
wall?
I think it's the latter. Yeah, he found Mole. Amazing J backing away, and the rest of the team converges. SOFM, 3 kills.
Okay, we need to talk about the sync there of SOFM blast coning over the wall as the cask is in the air. Just beautiful coordination from them. Means that while Chieftain is still alive, while he does have smite, he doesn't have flash. Uh-oh.
Oh no, you've been caught in the apprehend, and that means that you are going to be taken to Dunktown, destination Flandre.
And
Rest in
Snake,
peace.
they have now cracked this game wide open with access to the Baron. In fact, they're actually going to stall it until they find and flush out Chieftain. You can see Guo on the top side of your screen. Operation figure out where Sejuani is.
Oh boy. And they found him, and they found the Baron 25 minutes in, and Snake are massively ahead now. And their big old carry in the jungle, he is gigantic. He's a monolith.
5-0-5. This is what we expect from SOFM. They played multiple styles this series, and they're looking to close out game number 3 with their signature one. As we take a look at that, and it was a surprise.
Follow-up CC, the slow cleanse jump
Look
over
at
the
this!
wall.
As the cask is over the wall, it's the blast cone!
I think
That was so cool.
Frost, let's be honest, he was going to do that regardless of the cast coming out.
It was so cool. It just looked
more.
like a movie.
It did, it definitely did. It was too cinematic for the League of Legends universe.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that anime, and I'm pretty sure BLG have too.
Yes, they have. What are we going to... Third cinematic? We've had the New Dawn, we've had the other one. Time for some SOFM. My god, is this a big high set. Oh, Amazing J.
That is
Oh
the wrong
no!
side of the map.
That what a lead coming in from SOFM. Flash away from Amazing J. And now we have the high-speed chase.
Flandre's TPing into the mid lane.
Mid lane, 3v3, lights low. He's going to go down. Oh no, he's not. Oh, finally. 1-for-1. You're going down with me, son. Road kiting away. Flandre chasing after Mole, looking for the apprehend. He's already used it. Going to give him a slap on the back as he walks away. Maestro and the rest of the minion wave coming into the mid lane. Flandre, black shield on him. Double apprehend, and here comes the cavalry. F2FM sitting on top of Mole. He flashes forwards. Misses the Force Lightning. How can you miss that one? It's point blank. Follows up the plasma once again, and he will eventually die. Amazing J. I got what I came for, SFM. He finds 5 members and Snake up, ramming it down mid lane.
And the Western Conference sends their regards, BLG. The neighborhood battle. We talked about how these two teams go way back. They used to live on the same street, probably got plenty of scrim time together. And unfortunately, BLG still looking like the little brother of the LPL, as Snake are just flexing on them right now.
Different names, same BLG. Unfortunately, that is an inhibitor going down, potentially the kill blow. We'll see, but let's take a look at that again, because we saw the top side, but what happens in the mid?
Oh, just slightly off
Yeah.
right there. You can see he wanted to do his best Captain Jack impression, wasn't quite there. It's okay, Light. You're new to the stage, you managed to survive, output a lot of damage before you went down. And it's a very sound theory from BLG here. You see that the Kai'Sa is up in the top lane, you then pull the arrow,
Yes.
trying to start the fight, but Flandre is just so quick on the teleport, gets right into the thick of it, and Snake get it done, even without Kai'Sa.
I mean, can you imagine what would have happened in that fight if Light got the perfect timing on his QSS? That was going to be maybe a Nexus turret, if not more, having double ADCs up. And that's what it was for BLG. I mean, that was like as good as it's going to get, and that was because of a misplay from Light. So right here, right now, we've got 4 items complete by SOFM. He's picked up a needlessly. And I don't know how many times we have to say it, but this is a pretty big Kai'Sa.
It's also the fact that they were able to execute on double ADC alongside the final composition,
Yep.
and having the Morgana. I think really the Morgana was kind of the key here, as well as the Varus. I don't think that works with a lot of different 2v2s to not have access to a ganking jungler.
Sure.
And not just completely cede all pressure in your lane, which their tower did drop relatively early, but they minimized the damage done.
Oh, we're closing in around Flandre in the mid lane. A complete collapse for 4 people, but he's got perfect timing still, and SOFM is in. Nice lockdown, though, comes out of that one with the cleanse. Waits a beat for a second. Meanwhile, Road jumps back in. Uh-oh, it's Darius'
he
time.
dodged the
Oh,
arrow.
no. Here comes SOFM and Darius. They're both hungry for some resets. 3 for 0, and Snake, right place, right time. They try and make a play onto Flandre, but he lives all the way through just to die to the tower. No, he lives this one as well. And Snake, the Snake Pit, will claim another victim in BLG.
People will look at the score here, they won't watch the match and they'll say, of course BLG lost, but it was a very good showing from BLG, much better than they have. So while they don't claim the victory here, they've at least learned a lot, showcased more of their strengths, but also pinpointed a lot of those weaknesses. On the other side, Snake, go back to the funnel, have some fun doing it, all smiles as they walk across to BLG.
Nice to see.
Next time, gentlemen.
And not every single episode has to be a good one in every good anime. It's why you keep watching, for the drama, and eventually you're hoping for a happy ending. Hopefully that is for BLG, but here today, the villains win. Snake Esports in the home arena in Snake Pit Chongqing. Take the bow in the grimiest way possible. Win out this series 2-1 with double funnels.
And SOFM had one hell of a day. He's actually sitting, I believe, 5th, or he's tied technically for 3rd in the MVP standings. And for where Snake's sitting on the standings comparatively to the likes of RNG, IG, Rogue Warriors, and EDG, just speak to how fundamental this guy is to the team. He's actually the coach. First guy he hits the tie 5 too. Ah, yeah, there you go. That's the real carry. Give him the nice little head
Pat him
scratch.
on the
Nice little,
head.
oh, get in there.
Made it happen. I think it's a Amanda too. Good stuff, Snake. And yeah, as you said, they are pretty much in the middle of the standings, but we can see the makings of multiple styles coming out of Snake. They can play it normal, they can play it unconventional, and it all works. Mostly.
Mostly. New coach, new Snake, new style.
New style with me.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage in the jungle. Almost 30,000. Oh, that's a lot. Now, we're talking about this. I think I was talking to Raz about this. Or was it Clement? It was either Raz or Clement. And we're talking about the percentage damage coming out from the jungle. SOFM had, on average, just in the low 30s as a jungler. And that wasn't even all with ranged AD carries. That was with, like, Irelias and, like, close-range jungle funnels as well. Like, that's insane. And that just pumped up the stats once again.
Also, I know SFM is going to give all the credit here, but huge credit to his side lanes. To make the funnel composition work, your side lanes cannot collapse like that. To run the double ADC, not have access to a true ganking jungler. Just well done across the board from Snake to make that strategy work.
Yep, the funnel happened. It was a good funnel. It was a good Chinese funnel, and in the end, they'll take the win. Congratulations to Snake. For now, though, we're going to send it back to the analyst to close out the day.
Thank you so much. Great cast on the day, everyone. And Snake in the Snake Pit. They did it once again, and they did it with a funnel. Novel adaptation. I actually really liked the double AD carry setup, the Varus bottom, because it's saying, okay, well, we're going to take the Kai'Sa jungle. We're going to have weak jungle presence, so that means we need to take a strong bottom lane. Well, you know who's got a great bottom lane? Varus. Varus is good. He can clear waves and push minions, and as long as we don't lose the turret, and we've lost our summoner spells. And now we've lost the turret.
It was a good idea. Don't fault them for that. The concept was great. So Snakes, traditionally, they would run double supports into the bot lane as well, just for the side lane push. But against BLG, who don't run any mages, or haven't been successful running mages, I think the Varus is a great pick. So conceptually, I think Snake 100% won the draft.
Yeah.
They had 3 pushing lanes. They had the gold funnel composition. It was absolutely great. What they failed at was the level 1 execution, because BLG had a great answer. Amazing J came down from the top lane, and they got both summoners and a kill onto the bot lane. So that pushing lane of Morgana and Varus was nowhere to be seen. They actually lost their tower very early on, and things were looking so dicey on Snake's part.
And then you saw the mid game. I believe it was Frost saying that BLG took the clever option play with the Ashe. Take the turret, complete recall, and then disappear from the map. If that arrow hits Kai'Sa, if that arrow hits Gragas, then suddenly Tahm Kench just carries the Ashe there and they pick up the kill off the back of it. But they instead went top, took the Rift Herald and the top tier 1, while Snake struggled to react and take a bottom tier 1 and answer.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the map movements were on to BLG's side. They did take the first tower, and all the rotations afterwards were in their favor. You could see in the gold lead graph that BLG were actually ahead coming into those 2 big jungle fights, but that's where everything started to collapse, because if you look at the fight, it was so scattered that Kai'Sa basically was attacking someone from the first instant of the fight to the absolute last, and nothing was being done about here. I think it did come down a lot to Snake's composition right here, where they did have the explosive cast. They separated the entire battlefield, and it was usually on open ground. The first 2 kills in those big fights were the Ashe. It was very unfortunate, but it was well played on Snake's part, and that's where they really got most of the advantages. As you can see right here, originally BLG actually started with the first kill in the fight, but they don't have a backline anymore.
Yeah, that's so devious.
Yeah, and at this point, we are looking at a very fed Kai'Sa. She was gold funnel. She is sitting on extra items, and she just blew through the entire thing. A lot of the times when you're going up against a gold funnel composition, you actually want to avoid the fight in this instance, because SOFM is going to be sitting 1 item ahead. And look at that damage share.
44.7%, Clement. 8, 0, and 7 on the Kai'Sa. Now, I'm the first person to hop on board the Kai'Sa train, but even that's kind of gross.
That's absolutely disgusting, and Snake are showing us that they always have this strategy in their back pocket. They can fall back onto it if the ban pick allows them to go onto this, or else they could just play standard. So this is great adaptation coming out from Snake. We're seeing a bit of the traditional style. We're seeing a bit of the Flandre carrying the top lane, and then we're seeing that they still have the SOF.
So then I want to turn this into a larger conversation about the prospects of Snake moving forward. They've now taken 2 wins in cross-conference, one with their traditional AD carry style, one with the double funnel victory over BLG. Is this just a conference difference between the two, where we're seeing them play against lower tier teams, or is Snake actually showing us some growth in these games?
I think Snake is actually doing quite well. They are showing growth in their individual mechanics and their understanding of the gold funneling. It's not 100%. I still think they lose out on a lot of mid-game map movements, and I think the real test is going to be when they move into the top and middle parts of the Eastern Conference. Remember, the Eastern Conference is the stronger conference, and they still have 3 teams in the top, Jingdong, RNG, and Invictus Gaming, who only have 1 loss. So those are going to be the big tests right there. I do want to turn a little bit of attention to BLG, though, because I want to say size does matter, and you cannot have 3 positions on your team with champion pools that are very lacking in a certain aspect. You could see what Snake was doing right here. They understood that you're going to have a weak top side. No question. You're going to have a weak jungle. So it's very easy to just run in with a gold funnel. And conceptually, I felt like Snake won out 100% against BLG. And I really want to see some new things from BLG. They're a team that doesn't really adapt well. They have champion pool issues. They don't have a really strong laning phase. But if this goes on, it's like another Athena situation.
Yeah,
You can't survive on this. So BLG, they have to do better.
Yeah, I mean, there's hoping for a lot of growth for this team. They've always been the miracle makers pulling out these late game victories. We talk about the mental fortitude, but just didn't quite work out for them this time around. Hopefully they'll get the chance to take some more wins as the split goes on. But that said, let's take a look at the standings and see where it all shakes out after today's game. Snake, with their victory, find themselves at 5-3 in third place in the conference, quickly leapfrogging TOP and OMG, whom they were tied with just a few days ago.
Yep, and they're quickly finding themselves some more victories for the Western Conference. Not doing so hot before today. On the other hand, we do have LGD finally picking up their first cross-conference win ever for this year.
Of the year, yeah.
Yeah, of the year. So big props to them, and we're still looking at those big matchups from the top side of the Western Conference. All three teams, JD, IG, and RNG, still only at 1 loss. A lot of interesting, intense games coming from them.
And we've already gotten to see one of those amazing matches. Just yesterday, RNG played EDG. We're still looking for all of the rest of those wonderful combinations to see how those teams actually match up against each other. That being said, though, the LPL is not done. Even though the broadcast won't be happening tomorrow on that Tuesday and Wednesday for the English broadcast, you can still catch it on all of our Chinese sides. That's going to be on douyu.com and Panda, and I believe you can also find it on lpl.qq.com. That's Vici versus EDG, and JD is taking on FPX just after.
Yeah, a lot of eyes are going to be going towards that JD versus FPX matchup, where Yagao, who's been having an absolute blast currently, the Echo, the Yasuo, just so many good plays coming out for him against FPX Cool, which is, of course, their core player in the mid lane, household name, long-term veteran. So that new and old matchup is going to be very spicy.
Yeah, and of course the LPL will also be back on Friday with the English broadcast. We'll be coming at you with JD versus Rogue Warriors when the English broadcast returns. So another chance to see Yagao and Zoom return to the Rift. And then just after that, RNG will make their return. They've been playing without Uzi. Will they still be able to take wins against a team like FPX?
Yeah, and I just want to know which lineup they actually field, because they're currently going with a roster of
double
8.
Top, double jungle.
Yeah, and it's just so good. We haven't even seen Abel yet, and the big question for them is, can they repeat their success last split where they went 7-0 against the Western Conference?
And of course, we get the true test between JD and Rogue Warriors. Doinby gets to prove whether or not his team deserves to be at the top of the conference, if the West truly can challenge the East, or whether or not JD are actually that superior.
Yeah, I want to see Doinby's champion pool, because I think he's actually gone off the far end. We haven't actually seen him play a mage.
A standard mage, yeah.
In a long time. I'm not even sure he knows how to. So that's going to be the big test for him against Yagao.
Yeah, so often we hear about him saying, oh, I spend 16, 17 hours a day practicing different champions, and sometimes you get a little flame doing it, but then sometimes you get Kled mid and win Rift rivals.
And the world is blowing up with Kled mids. I'm so happy as a Kled main. It's charge every day, and I feel vindicated by playing that champion.
The big question is, what's next for him? That said, though, that's going to do it for us. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. On behalf of myself, my analysts, our casters, and the whole production crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on Friday with more LPL English action.